Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of our Southwestern District Leadership Training webinar series. This morning, we're having a class on virtual recruitment and retention tips, and this class is being presented by our special guest speaker, Katie MacDonald, who serves as the Recruitment and Retention Manager for the BHS in Nashville. She's also the bass singer for the famed GQ Quartet. Katie grew up listening to the Beatles, and to this day, she swears they were the ones who taught her how to harmonize. She's been participating in musicals since middle school and lights up when she's on stage. In late high school and early college, she expanded her musical knowledge in jazz choir, where she met two other members of her quartet. Katie is a graduate of Towson University with a Bachelor of Science in Music and a minor in Business. Katie, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everybody. Yay. Well, welcome to this virtual teaching about virtual stuff in a virtual platform. So let's get right to it, because it's gonna be fun, I promise. So welcome, friends. This is virtual recruitment and retention tips. So that's me at Harmony Hall when I could go there. So sad. So that's me. I think that was like my first week on the job, and I was super happy and excited. And then yes, I sing with GQ. I love them very much. They're my best friends. So yay. So you guys probably are familiar with Parkside Harmony. That is the chorus with Sean Devine, Jay Butterfield, and they were based in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then recently this year, we actually expanded to add another chorus. It's called Parkside Melody. We compete in the women's division, and we actually have had a lot of success with virtual recruitment. And I'm basically gonna tell you guys all about that. And yeah, so, and I'm the director of Parkside Melody. So that's what my role is. And then I just use my BHS stuff to do that. So, all right. So this class I do focus on virtual recruitment and retention tips, but to be honest, a lot of this is going to translate to in-person things, because it's really just about being nice to people. That's really it. So if you're a nice person, you're probably going to be great at this. So we'll go with that. So my rules are: please talk, please, with the amount of people here, feel free to, if you would like to unmute, feel free to unmute, feel free to put stuff in the chat. I am going to ask you to write stuff into the chat, and just with suggestions and things like that. So please don't be shy and do that. So get the chat ready to go. And that's really it. Please joke around. It's a Saturday, and let's have fun. Okay, cool. So first question for the chat. Whose job is it to recruit new members in your chorus? Me, it's me, yep. Do we have a bunch of membership VPs here? Ooh, I like everyone, yes. That's good, that's good. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, yeah. Everyone, good. Definitely everyone, great. You know what, 3 everyone's, yes, that is exactly what I was looking for, fam. Everybody, it is everybody's job to recruit, not just the membership VP, not just the director. It's literally everybody in the chorus. You should be talking to people that you know. So that's the first thing to probably teach your chorus, is that it's not just, someone's job to do this themselves, a great resource that BHS is doing right now to kind of attract new members and make it a little easier for them to join during such an awkward time is this Project Connect. What it is if you are brand new to BHS, you will get half off your society dues, which is awesome. So that's somebody who, if you are trying to engage a non-barbershopper for the first time, this is a really good opportunity for them. And then if you get a person of note during this time for our current members, you'll get $10 off your renewal. We actually ran that campaign last winter when I first got to BHS, and now we're doing it again for similar, just, hey, if you get a person of note, you'll get $10 off your renewal. So little incentives there financially, which for some people is really helpful. But if you're looking for singers, to be honest, the absolute best place that you can look is your friends and family that you know who sing. So definitely think of those people. And if things changed, The Office, that is my favorite show of all time. Whoever's watching The Office. Now I want to watch The Office. Okay, anyway. So friends and family, especially people who sing, and past members is another great resource to kind of think of. Like, hey, maybe their life changed since COVID, because everyone's did. Patrons, people who went to your shows, but were always like, wow, I love you guys. You did great. And then they kind of run away. But hey, they could be a singer as well. And I've heard I haven't used meetup.com myself, but a lot of chapters have talked about meetup.com. Even in the virtual world, they've pivoted to, you know, online meetups and stuff, and choruses. So that's definitely a great resource. But the biggest thing to remember right now in this virtual environment is that everyone's life is different since COVID. So if they said no before, it might be different now. They might be bored out of their mind looking for connection. And another thing you do have to ask yourself is if they are a barbershopper or not, because do they even know who we are? Like, we are I think we can all agree we're in a kind of an interesting, kind of weird niche of singing, right? Like, we are very high level a cappella singing. You can't just say, come to my chorus. Even if they're a singer, you kind of got to show them what barbershop is. So use the BHS YouTube. Show them, if they're a young person, show them Newfangled 4 being hilarious, you know? Show them quartets and choruses that look like them, and make them feel like they will have a place in this really awesome world that we love so much. So this is a question for you guys of just to kind of get you thinking, because I have a video in my back pocket always that I'm just like, here is here is barbershop. But what is everybody's go-to video to show somebody what barbershop is? Holy moly, I'm just reading Scott with the Marksman got about a third of our new member leads from Meetup. That's amazing. Westminster Mardi Gras. Yep. Jeez. Oh, thanks, Scott. My nerdy peeps. Thanks, Russ. Yay. Especially showing young girls a quartet like mine obviously is going to help sway them because they see themselves in it. So absolutely do that. Yep. Great. Seriously. Yes, Travis, there are. Y'all are suck-ups. Just kidding. Depends on the age. Yep, VM or Westminster. That's really, yes. Thinking of who it is great. I have a default video. It's Ringmasters' Notre Dame because it's just gorgeous. Like, what? Like, how can you not be impressed after that? Even, and like From Now On and the new Westminster set. Oh my gosh, just, man. And yeah, but anything that's going to really like turn them, anything that has a possibility of like being viral, you know, and especially since BHS does all of our videos, you know, professional videos from contests, they all look really good. They look really, really good. We're very lucky that we have so much online content, and that's why we're kind of thriving right now, because we can do so much. So everybody keep a video in the back of your head, have that YouTube link ready to show people our amazing hobby. And this is also a great time right now because everybody's scrolling on Facebook all the time. Ramp up your social media, and it may be like, well, we're not doing anything. Yeah, you are. You're doing virtual stuff. You are making a great virtual rehearsal experience. You're sharing videos about singing. You're sharing videos about the science of singing. You're sharing VHS videos. You can do so much, and you can schedule posts and stuff. And that's a whole nother world, but Amy Rose can teach you all of that, and she's really good at it. So definitely hit her up for the next virtual chapter visit if you want that. But honestly, my opinion, show off how awesome your virtual rehearsals are. Because guess what, guys? We're going to talk about a great virtual rehearsal. And now I know this is what y'all are thinking. Like, this isn't the class. No, Katie, you're supposed to be teaching us recruitment and retention tips. I know. But how are you going to recruit new people if you don't have anything to show them? So we are going to go over a couple of things. I'm going to do very high level. Just hopefully these will spark some ideas for your virtual rehearsals that's going to make it better for your members and guests. But honestly, your guests, you want them to feel included and appreciated. So yeah, so anyway, next thing I would like you guys to answer is, what is one aspect of your virtual rehearsals that you love? Just anything in your virtual rehearsal, like that's your absolute favorite. Camaraderie, yes. Goofing around yes. I want to say like trolling the chat. I like to do that in mine. Definitely not paying attention. That's a good one, Travis. Yes. Where is he? He should be here. Gosh. Breakout and singing with tracks. Yep. 60-year member. Oh, that's so cute. Did you guys do like an interview with them or something? Like the 60-year member, whoever that was? That's so cute. Oh, I love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yes. So the majority of these things that you guys put in: camaraderie, goofing off in the chat, breakout rooms, and singing with tracks, recognizing a 60-year member. To be honest, the overwhelm, seeing everyone and exchanging things, the apps, every time I ask this question, it has never failed. The thing that people love the most is the social aspect of everything. So everybody is craving the social interaction between each other. I hate to say it, but it's not as much the music. And now I know everybody at BHS is gonna like kill me and like hate me, but honestly, we get together because we're friends. So when you're planning your virtual rehearsal, it should be social at most. So whether you're getting to know a new member or you're going to do breakout rooms and have people talk to each other, that absolutely needs to be the focus. Then music, then education. And I know that may sound weird. It should be probably like music, social education, or music, education, social. Nope. If you want to keep people, if you want to show people that this is fun, you have got to like tell people that and show people that. So, and our great Fred King, they come from the music that's safe for the fellowship. There we go. That's our whole philosophy. So the social part is super important. So now let's go over a couple of ideas. I'm going to kind of breeze through these. You don't have to write this down. You'll get this whole presentation afterwards. So starting with the social, the Zoom glow, so easy. Keep it open. Keep people chatting. Everybody go get a beverage of their choice and snacks and come hang out and chat with each other after every rehearsal. The Parkside glows last a really, really, really long time. Okay. Parkside also does wines and wins. What that means is we just open the floor for people to say, okay, everybody, who has a wine and win, or wine or a win? A wine is something that's like, oh, I would really like for, yes, yeah, seriously, Travis. I would really like some people to be thinking my job is kind of like iffy right now, and a win could be I just bought a house, so it's just kind of opening the floor for your members to say something good or bad that's going on in their life. But again, social connection, supporting each other. Continue recognizing person of note and years of service and renewals. We do the clapping thing. We say with 10 person of note awards, this person, always still recognize everybody, because we also want to keep the value of membership and remind people that no, we're still doing the same things that we do in person. The membership hot seat game, that's where somebody literally just asks a bunch of random questions like, what's your favorite season? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite? And it's just dumb. They're so silly, but everyone, oh my God, everyone loves that, because everybody inevitably laughs at some of the responses. Random breakout rooms with discussion prompts. We did, what has your quarantine soundtrack been? That's super fun. And that's such a weird question. Like for me, it was like yellow card or something. I don't know, something silly. You could do a barbershop trivia. You could use Kahoot to do that trivia, or chapter trivia, chapter specific stuff. You could do watch parties for the Legacy Quartet Championship. We're actually going to do one for the Cornet Club show. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, we're all going to get on Zoom and just watch it together, and then have a glow afterwards and talk about it. Oh, it's going to be great. So that's the social part. And as you can see, I had a ton of ideas for that, because it's my favorite part. The music. So here's a couple of ideas for music. When people get in to the Zoom room, have barbershop music playing at a very low volume when people enter, because guess what? We all are on these Zoom calls probably like a bajillion hours a day. And if we start our rehearsal with kind of like just a regular Zoom meeting, it's going to feel like a Zoom meeting. We're all sitting, we're all probably at our desk. So honestly, like I started playing Class Rings, Blame It on My Youth, one rehearsal. Oh, that was a success, because they're incredible. So little things like that, just play a barbershop song. Make sure that everything that you do virtually is really short, because our attention span on Zoom is already really, 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 really school. So we just bounce around to different things, a lot of variety. Make sure overall your rehearsals are way shorter than they were in person. I have found an hour and a half is kind of a cutoff. Maybe 2 hours if you have a ton of social time, like half of it is social, but the shorter the better. I've even seen choruses do every other week. Parkside already had that model, but the concept of not doing it as often, but really planning for a great rehearsal, absolutely worth it. 1,000,000%. It's not a failure if you guys decide to go back, like cut back, because it is exhausting. You know, it's a weird time. Spotlighting, where people are singing and you can just make their screen really big. That's a Zoom feature. And you can do visual plan rollouts. Our visual coordinator, Kayla, that's her in the photo, she literally like made a video and we were doing the video together. I just spotlight her, and we all just watched her kind of talk through the visual plan with us. So awesome. And it was great because nobody talked. Yay. Other things, prioritize singing, even though we can't hear each other. It's fine. It's weird, we know, but continue to prioritize singing. Do an actual physical warm-up, a physical warm-up, a vocal warm-up. You can use our HU online videos. The director doesn't even have to do anything. It's amazing. Sing along with the section leader so that they're not just doing tracks every single time. Learn a new song. Honestly, a virtual environment is a great time to learn a new song. Like, I know it may seem weird, but truly, especially if you get good learning tracks, ooh, it's all gonna be fine. Run rep songs, your older songs, and have people stand. Honestly, I think that was on the previous slide. Have people stand and run their songs. Even in our emails, we always say, like, be sure you're in a room where you can like back up and stand up. So always make sure for that. Sectional breakout rooms. That's pretty obvious, where section leaders can work with the sections. Use your Fourscore app to mark up and share music. And if I think I can absolutely help people with Fourscore. I just discovered it recently, and I'm so amazed because I just got an iPad because it took me a while. You can do a whole virtual choir project. There's so many people that are up and coming that will do virtual choir projects for you, and just definitely look into that. And then honestly, with Zoom, it's a great platform to do an emoting exercise where you can literally emote to your webcam right here and everybody gets to see what you're doing. And it's actually really fun. It may seem a little silly, but I took a screenshot of it because I thought it was so cute. So emoting exercise into your webcam, you're acting to all your friends. Another thing that I think is super inclusive for all of our meetings is you rename yourself in Zoom to be your voice part and your name. And then in Parkside, we also put our pronouns as well. So you can absolutely do that to kind of show everybody like who you are. To be honest, your guests are going to look around like, oh, okay, so I'm a bass. Who's going to be a bass friend of mine? Oh, Katie Mac's going to be a bass friend of mine. Cool. So just kind of like little things, because in person we would kind of know who basses are, but virtually we have no idea. Like our guests don't know. So just ways to identify yourself, even if it's like director Katie MacDonald or membership guest leader, you know, something like that, that just shows people who you are by a sight is awesome. And then of course we have education resources literally for days because of HU. And you know, you can absolutely do the history of barbershop with David Wright. You can do any of the HU online courses and stream them through Zoom. So it's just literally, you can do it forever. You could do like a chapter beginnings where the director interviews a founding member. That's always really, really interesting. And really like, it's just so warm and fuzzy and lovely. Contests and judging presentations by all of our amazing judges who are maybe not bored. I'm sure they're doing stuff, but you know, they're coming in and like talking about the categories and things. And you know, you can watch and critique performance videos or have virtual chapter visits from me and all of the BHS fam. We reached out to Tony Colosimo because we love him and we were like, please do warm-ups for us. And he did, because barbershoppers are great. So do that, ask your friends. This has actually expanded in the last week or so, and I haven't updated it yet, but the virtual chapter visits have grown so much. Continue to ask people. I think this is our original crew of people, and then here is our new set. Yeah, so Amy Rose can teach you more about social media, and how to just revamp it. Ashley, I think you guys had Ashley Brown with grant writing. The inclusion team can come. Marty can come on over. Eric can come. It's just awesome. And we absolutely love doing these. So please continue to sign up for them. They are at no charge. It's a benefit of being members. So please sign up for these. And then who is planning all of these amazing rehearsals? Likely your director, music team, visual team, a membership team, kind of like all of these people that have a hand in the pot for talking with people and creating a plan. But you have to plan these rehearsals ahead of time. I will 1,000,000% say that a virtual rehearsal to execute it takes like triple the planning time as an in-person. Absolutely. The Zoom admin is also a really important role. Somebody who's driving the ship, I would say that is Scott right now, and you're killing it because you're kind of narrating everything. That is an essential role right now. So definitely continue that for sure. Okay, so now we've talked about awesome virtual rehearsals. Now we're going to talk about the ask. So basically asking people to come and hang out. You're asking them to come to a virtual rehearsal. So we have to make sure that that's clear, because it's like, well, we're a chorus, we sing, but it's over Zoom. You kind of got to go into it, right? You want to give them a date and time, make it a real event so that they're actually starting to plan for it, and ask via the outlet that that person would appreciate. I'm a millennial, don't call me. Just don't. I don't want to be called. I want to be texted I want to be texted or Facebook messaged. Maybe email, maybe. But I'm probably not gonna get that one. So if they want a phone call, awesome. If they want a email, do it that way. Whatever works best for that friend. And I just literally put sample asks. And I know that sounds so silly, and you guys are probably looking at me like, geez, like that's really, really like weird. But honestly, it's just, you want to ask people like, hey, hey, come on over. And it can get a little awkward because we're asking them to do something a little strange. So just put all of your information into those and it'll be great. Okay, so your friend said yes, yay. Now what do you do? So this can vary from chorus to chorus, but typically I would send off your guest's name, email, and voice part to the membership VP. Also, if they're a barbershopper or not, that's actually pretty important to kind of, will they need to be guided through this process? Like, will they need to know what our voicing is and kind of our cultural things and our events? Where they live, especially in this virtual world, you guys are going to get out of towners visiting. Like Travis visited Parkside. So yeah, it's going to take a bit. You want to kind of track where these people are from, especially if the membership VP doesn't know who these people are. And past singing experience, like if they already sing with another chorus, mention that, so we know, okay, they're a barbershopper. They should know what they're doing, kind of thing. It's just tracking people. And as their friend, you should reach out to them and be like, I can't wait to see you at rehearsal. So excited, kind of like reminding them about it and just being, again, really nice. That's all you gotta do. Just really make them feel special, because people aren't gonna remember what they did with you, but they will remember how you made them feel. You just want them to feel safe and capable, successful, surrounded by really good people, free. You just want them to feel good. That's really it. So like I said at the beginning of this presentation, if you're just a nice human, you will be fine. You will do things very well. So just be nice to people. Okay, now the other question I get a lot when I do these presentations is people will be like, does this even work? And I'm like, thank you. Let me tell you. For me, it did. For Parkside Melody, we invited 25 guests across the board just in June. 15 of those people returned after the next rehearsal. So that does mean 10 people said no thanks. Okay, so out of 25 to 15, like 10 people were like, no, thank you, I'm good. Either they're already in the chorus, but 15 returned. 4 people are currently virtually auditioning. I haven't updated yet. We now have 7 new members since June. So, and we have a virtual audition process. That's a whole nother thing that I can absolutely tell you guys about. But just reach out to me and I'll happily teach you that process that Parkside does. But we do have a virtual audition process, and we have 7 new people, and all of them got I think 6 out of the 7 of them got half off their society dues because of Project Connect. So pretty great. The membership VP, when it comes to guests, just need to manage a tracker that kind of keeps track of everybody and sending out emails with agendas and being kind of their point person and thanking them after every visit. If you remember nothing, membership VPs from this presentation, holy moly, just thank people. It is like it's so quick, and it will make all the difference in the world, because it's like, oh, they actually cared that I came. Like that took the energy to get on a Zoom call, which we all know takes a little bit of energy, and come hang out. So please do that. Send the thank you emails. I don't even care if it's membership VP, if it's the director, just somebody thank them, because it's a big deal that they showed up. The retention of current members, honestly, make sure that your current memberships are up to date. Membership VPs, like check if anybody has lapsed, reach out, and then tell them about, like, just kind of work with them and figure out a way to just keep sure that they're still renewing and still active, because we are putting on virtual rehearsals for everybody. So we are creating something. It's the best we can do in this weird time, but we're doing something for sure. And then continue to announce renewals and person note awards and virtual rehearsals. Still keep that. We want to keep that culture going for sure. Another person that I think is really important to have for guests is somebody who's like, and this could be anybody in the course. It could be the membership person. It can be the director, but it's got to be somebody who's just going to be really nice to these guests, like introducing them, inviting them to the glows, and then showing the guests that you care about each member, where it's like, hey, how's everything going? How's your new house? Like that kind of thing. Guests look at that and they're like, oh, I'm going to make friends here. That's cool. Like, it's so tiny, but if you're intentional with this kind of kindness, people are going to notice it and want to hang out. Justin Miller said this to the Parkside family. He said, any role within the organization, any role that you have within the organization, please make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability, because other people are depending on it. It creates a culture of excellence. Oh my God, I loved this. We are, for the most part, we're all volunteers here for our chapters, and just remember that people are counting on you, and you want people to, you want to do the best you can for something that is so important right now, which is social connection. So always do your best with all of that. Now, retaining your current membership. If your attendance is suffering, and you're just like, this isn't really with guests, but if your attendance is suffering with your current membership, the biggest thing you can do is ask why they're not coming. Like someone, whoever has good rapport with them, someone from leadership to another member, just, hey, what's up? Are you happy with our rehearsals? Is something going on? Do you not like something? Is it life? Is it what's going on? And again, like I said, people are going to every other week because it's just so, it can get exhausting just being in this virtual world. But the biggest thing that I could suggest is ask, because that's exactly what we do. We have a pulse check form where, we actually took this from Sirens of Gotham and Voices of Gotham. It's an area where they can rate rehearsal on a scale of 1 to 10. So you have like quantitative data of what's going on, like how rehearsal is going. And then there's a section of what did you love about rehearsal? What did you dislike about rehearsal? And that's just it. It's very open-ended. And we've, in the dislike column, Parkside Melody has gotten some really awesome feedback that we have pivoted, like completely. And of just like, oh, yep, okay, so 2 people have said that this wasn't great. All right, we should probably avoid this. And we've changed all of our programming. We do a lot more social stuff because of that. So really great stuff. Just absolutely keep this in mind. Also, it allows your members to be anonymous, which is really an important aspect too, because some people will absolutely feel comfortable talking to you. Some people don't. They just want to say what's wrong and not deal with it again. So we gotta listen. We gotta listen to them. And then if anybody says, well, I'm not tech savvy, I can't do a Zoom. We got to teach them. We got to teach them. There's really no excuse. We unfortunately cannot use that as an excuse anymore. And it's just, if we can click a link and they have an internet connection, that's how we have to kind of be in this world now. And honestly, if your chapter isn't meeting virtually, I'm assuming all of you guys are because you're here. If your chapter isn't meeting virtually, they should be visiting other chapters and just hanging out. So just if they say they're not tech savvy, it's our responsibility to get them there and just teach them what's going on. So I have one final question for you guys. I know I just threw a lot at you and a bunch of ideas, but I really just want to know if you think that what we're doing here, we are running choruses, we're in a virtual environment, we're not physically singing together, but we're running virtual choruses at the moment. Do you think what we're doing is important? Just important. Yeah. I have an absolutely and a yes. You know what? That's good enough for me. Yes. The answer obviously is yes, because, and I kind of want to leave with this, like, not to take away from anybody else in this pandemic who's doing life-saving work, but we are also, as artists and as art creators and people, you know, making connections with people, we are doing life-saving work as well. We are bringing people together to feel like they are loved in a time that's really isolating. We are checking in on people. We are just seeing each other and hearing about them in a, you know, from a distance, but it is absolutely the thing that makes some people like feel happy with life in this really weird time. So please, if you ever get frustrated with this technology and outlet, it just remember that what we're doing is really important to a lot of people, and it may feel underappreciated, but just remember this is temporary. Don't know how long, but it is temporary, and that we will get through it and everything will be okay. So now I'm at my Q&A portion, and I also wanted to let you know that anything that I talked about here, I have like a tracker template. I have the pulse check template where you can just make a copy of it and just literally change from Parkside Melody to your chorus name. I have all of the BHS resources for COVID-19, the HU warm-up playlist, Zoom tutorials, Project Connect, virtual chapter visits, and all the YouTube, all the Barbershop YouTube channels. So that's what we got for you. And I'm done.
Yay! That you could send to me, or we could touch base as soon as we get finished. And what I can do is put the links to those, if you're cool with it, put the links to all those in the comments section of the YouTube video once I get that posted later this afternoon. And that way they'll all be together for anybody, either if they came to the session late or showed up here in person, or those that just watch it later on video, they'll be able to access all those links. So let's touch base afterwards on those. For sure. And actually, I'm just going to put this in the for everybody right now in the chat, if you guys just want to steal it. But yes, Scott, I will get with you and make sure that that's sent to you. But that's the presentation that has absolutely everything for you. And it's, but yeah, you're welcome to any of it. If you guys have any questions, I also want to do questions right now anyway, but if you have any questions further, please just reach out to me. I've got 2 or 3 questions real quick here that I've got queued up for you. First of all, Travis asked, he said, we generally hand guests a binder of music when we meet in person. So are there any particularly successful methods for making sure guests get music in hand virtually while maintaining sensitivity to sharing restrictions? Yeah, exactly. What we've done is kind of, we allow the music to be on the screen and our section leaders will scroll through it. And we've recently kind of realized we have like an assistant section leader doing that, where they'll scroll through so the guests can see the music. And it's kind of, honestly, it's an incentive to join. If you want the music, you have to become a member because of licensing. So that's another really great way to do that. So I would just have your section leaders run the sectional, or the director or whatever, and then somebody else kind of, as the audio is playing, is literally, it's the Zoom admin role is hands down the most important role. The director's great and all, but the Zoom admin is absolutely the person who makes this stuff run. So definitely, that's honestly a way to get around that that concept of we can't really share that until you become a dues paying member. Yeah. So Travis, do you want to unmute real quick and just tell us about the jukebox method you used for rehearsal this past week?
Yeah, we hadn't done this before, and honestly, I kind of regret we hadn't done this sooner, where we did pretty much exactly, I think, what Katie Mac is talking about, where we split off into our breakout rooms for our section leaders, and like the facilitator or the section leader, if the section leader was a facilitator, like played the learning track, scrolled through the music, and so we didn't have to figure out how to get that music to that guest. And also just everyone was kind of muted and singing along, which was a lot more wholesome than I anticipated. Honestly, just sitting in a room, you don't want to sit in a room by yourself and just hear yourself sing, but at least just to see everyone else on the screen singing along with you felt really great. I do have kind of another question though, and to expand on that a little bit, because Space City is also transitioned to intermittently doing these this driveway choir method, which is great and is a lot of fun. It's almost like an afterglow, super low key rehearsal, honestly. Mm-hmm. But now we don't want to hand them a binder, and also we can't scroll past like on a screen, right? Because if we have a guest, and we had a guest that showed up, and the Polecat book was easy enough to share, but like others, like our own music, we're like, we can't. How do we make sure that if we're singing our rep charts, you can like at least look at the music along with us?
Yeah, it's so like in person, and Janice Bain knows 1,000,000% more things than me in kind of like licensing and stuff and copies and things. But in person, we were allowed to give them a guest finder, which they read and then they returned it. So in that case, things like if you were to send them music, it's got to say like like a watermark of guest copy on it, or it's that's the weird thing for sure. And that's why the way we get away with it is that, okay, we're going to let you see it. And it's not, I won't lie, it's not the best, because it's kind of like, I can't actually read that because you're scrolling at not my pace and everything, but it's just something we kind of got to do for the virtual world. I would say if you are going to send something, maybe like one song and let them look at it, but really it's not intended to be malicious. It's just that is the benefit of being a member. You do have to be a member, and because we have to pay per copy for all of these charts. So that's kind of the way you kind of get around it and explain it to people. But yes, also a great thing to do. Some polecats are just things that are in the public domain, so you can share the music and just immediately do that, or like I think you can share Keep the Whole World Singing. I think. Don't quote me. Oh, of course, this is being recorded. I'll find that out. Someone else probably knows. But things like that. Definitely good at putting something in there. But yeah, just for copyright, we have to keep that a little under wraps. But here it is. You can see the chart, and then they can see how, it's a cool chart by David Wright. That's awesome. Blah, 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 whatever. So. Yeah.
One thing we've thought about, it might be, I guess it's probably worth checking with Janice on this, but one thing we've thought about is like creating a rehearsal date specific folder and just dropping a copy like into the Google Drive, like on that folder for that date. And then we share them the link on that date, and then we like delete the folder later, so they only have access to that date. And then that might work. We haven't really executed that yet, but that's something we're thinking about.
I love that. I'll actually, because I have gotten this question another time more recently, because people are really starting to get people showing up. I will talk to Janice about that and kind of like get a better answer on that. And I think get back. Scott, I'll get with you again about that. So
yeah, the biggest question I would ask Janice about that is, are we worried if we share the link, I'm worried about somebody, saving that document?
Right.
And do we have any liability there? So I would check that out.
Yep.
Shifting gears, there's another question that was queued up, and that is early on in your presentation, you mentioned social and then music and then education in terms of virtual rehearsals. However, I know just from my own personal experience of being a 10-year barbershopper that oftentimes we tend to reorder that when we're meeting in person. And that is, it tends to go music, education, and at the end, okay, now we'll go do some social stuff. Yep. Do you think that should be modified in a lot of cases to extend to a lot more of the social aspect during the middle of rehearsal in-person rehearsals?
That is isn't it? Here's the sad thing is I haven't thought that far out, unfortunately. So this is like my off the cuff response. I mean, I think that like this pandemic has taught us a couple of things that's just like incredible. Like, why were we doing it this way before, kind of thing? Like where people are like, yeah, I could have worked remotely this whole time, or I don't know, things like that. But especially if your rehearsal is like 2.5, 3 hours. Oh yeah. Taking time, even if the social side is taking time to watch a quartet perform, or, you know, where then you can like hoot and holler and like support and feel a connection to people. That's not just the working together, making a song good, you know, like things like that. I would 1,000,000% say, yeah, it's like, it kind of, this weird time reminds us of what's actually important. And the reason why we're all barbershoppers is because of each other. Like, yes, the music is awesome. We come from the music, yes. But yeah, I would absolutely make sure that we do that. Or at the very least, if you're, you know, the social time is afterwards, make sure that glow is super long. Make sure you start doing parties and social things. And honestly, I think if I had to guess, the Parkside family is going to be doing some virtual events like this, like probably forever, because like a watch party for things, amazing. Like if anybody didn't go to like, you know, SAI or HI where we can like watch it all together on the webcast, there's just so many options of things you can do. And, you know, everybody's in their own house with their own beverages and snacks. I mean, that part's kind of great. I do love that. And I'm in my jammies and I'm happy. So it's pretty great. So yes, I would say it's going to translate.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Russ, you had a question about starting new chapters. Do you want to hop on and ask that?
Unmute. Hey, Katie.
Hi, Russ.
As coming from the district point of view, is there any way that we could use Zoom or other opportunities to look at to reach out to areas that possibly could be new chapter areas? Have y'all thought about that from the BHS level or got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so you're asking for is Zoom able to be used to do what? To start a new chapter?
New chapters. Yeah, to get the interest going. You know, get that spark going for new chapters in an area.
Yeah, so we actually have had chapters form during the pandemic. Devin Bradford is my wonderful coworker, and she's in charge of getting new chapters together. And I will say the interest kind of has to be from within. We can't necessarily talk to a bunch of strangers and say, would you like to start a virtual barbershop course? They're probably going to look at us like we're crazy and not really know how to do that. So you probably would want to look for the people that either were thinking of forming a chorus and, you know, starting in this virtual environment. So that does, of course, have a lot of limitations, but absolutely there are still people forming. They probably had the idea pre-pandemic, but hey, if they all can join for half off right now, that's pretty great. So there's definitely a ton of things that we can do to make sure that the new chapters are supported. But if you're saying, yes, you can, as like barbershop leaders, reach out to those people. You do have to find out who they are, and kind of like, hey, would you like, my chapter can sponsor, I don't know, like the startup fee or whatever, or like a couple of memberships. Like, would you like us to help you if you guys have that capability? That's absolutely a possibility. Same with clubs. Barbershop clubs are another concept that BHS has. It's not a chapter, but it's just, you basically can sing, but you don't compete. You just sing barbershop. You get access to all of our resources for music and things like that, but you just don't compete. So that's great for colleges, for people who strictly just want to be social. So we can absolutely do a club as well. There's just so many options. And Russ, I can connect you with Devin if you've got some ideas on that, if you would like. Awesome. Yay.
So Russ, one thing we might consider, if you don't mind me just taking the stage for a second, I have a question and something we might want to consider, and that is we might want to put together a list of chapters that are doing virtual rehearsals in the district well now. For instance, let's assume for the moment that you knew that Waco, there was a few people who had an interest there in trying to start a Waco chapter, right? Well, we could probably put them together and say, hey, here's 4 or 5 chapters. Here's Space City Sound. They get together on Sunday night and they do this, and here's the link to this. Let me put you in touch with Travis, or let me put you in touch with Matt or somebody, so you can make an arrangement to show up at the rehearsal and just get a feel for what it's like. And then the next week we might send them to VN, or we might send them to Marksman, or we might send them to Austin or wherever.
Yeah.
But if we had that list of ones that we could say, go check this out, and then we've got somebody following up with them, like our membership manager following up with them and saying, what did you think? What questions did you have? How can we help you along some of the lines of things that Katie were talking about? That's something we might want to think about doing in the next year.
Yeah, y'all got like a lot of heavy hitters here. So yeah, you got great examples. So do that. Yes.
That was nice, Travis. Classic Baylor talking about Waco. That was not a, that was purely serendipitous. Katie, different question. Do you have time to go over just maybe a 10,000 foot view, but just a quick view of the virtual audition process for Parkside Melody?
Yeah. So we have 4 stages of what an auditioner does. Step 1 is they submit a recording of themselves singing along to a learning track. So it's just audio. And basically that's showing us that they can do the recording requirement in general. So that's their vocal audition. And then step 2 is their video audition, where they're gonna do a visual plan along to we send them tutorial videos of a visual plan for a song, and they have to film themselves singing and doing the visual plan for a song. So that's step 1 and 2. They'll submit that audio recording and the video. The section leaders review it, and if we say, yep, they're good to audition live. So now our live audition looks like, so our rehearsal starts at 7 p.m. At 6 p.m. it's the audition team, and that actually is members of Parkside Harmony and Melody every time. This is just like basically the music team. And we literally have that person play on their phone. Like this is like typically a tablet or a computer. They play the full mix on their phone, and then they sing to like aside the learning track basically. And that way, and then we give them a minute to like test the levels to make sure that honestly we can hear them the most. So they actually do a live audition in front of people. Now that is also a Parkside culture thing. We don't do private auditions. You audition in front of like the whole chorus. We modified it a little bit because this is such a strange and weird environment. We modified it to be just an audition team, and they sing in front of us, and then we have an interview with them, because we also have like an expectation sheet that we have them kind of look into that. What else? Then after that, it's like the audition and music team approval, then it has to get board approved, which is step 4. And then once they pass all those steps, they are in the chapter. So everything is virtual though.
So is there any form of any visual you want to see whether you get an idea of whether they can actually emote?
Oh yeah. That's the step 2, the video submission, where we literally, I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn my virtual background off real quick and show you kind of what we have them do. Oh, don't mind all of my Halloween decorations everywhere, but okay. So we have them stand this far back and actually do the visual plan into like, this can be my computer webcam can absolutely just film me doing this, but at least from like bottom of your legs up to your head, and you can actually move. But that is our visual audition. And that's how we know if they are good. And we actually have a very minimal plan as our virtual audition, because we kind of want to see more what they do with their face. So it's not a lot of like, hit here. It's nothing like that. It's really nothing like that. It's actually very minimal. And that's actually harder in my opinion, because you have to show off like how you can kind of interpret the song. So yeah, but they have to submit a video in that regard. So yeah, that's how we do that. And that's how we do the actual visual portion of it all. Very cool. Thanks for diving into that a little bit. I know you said we could get into that a little bit offline if need be, but that was really helpful. Yeah. Going back to the previous question regarding virtual rehearsals, Pete, that's a great idea. You posted an idea onto the chat about how if we could also put together, if the district could also put together a list of chapters that are currently doing virtual rehearsals that will accept other Southwestern district guests to watch and see how we're doing them. Not just from a recruiting standpoint or maybe helping new chapters form, but also just to get ideas for other chapters and things they want to incorporate. I mean, I've learned some things today just that
things that we might want to incorporate in our virtual rehearsals. So
absolutely,
that's
please
awesome.
shadow and call it, if you're just visiting like a fellow friend chorus, call it a shadow. Like, can I shadow marksman? Can I shadow VM? Because then it's and it's kind of like them knowing your camera will probably be off. You don't need to like have an agenda necessarily, but you just want to see how they run their stuff. Because the amount of things that I have stolen from Voices of Gotham, Sirens of Gotham, Vocal Standard, Central Standard, because I went and watched them, like I just went and looked, is insane. And everybody loves it. Like the pulse check is from Sirens of Gotham. And I that is hands down my favorite thing that we do.
So did you just reach out to the chapter leaders to be able to get on that list, or does VHS maintain a list somewhere of chapters that are open to?
We don't have that just necessarily because everything's changing so much. But I reached out to the president of Sirens of Gotham, and I said, hey, is it okay if I shadow you guys? Because I love you all and you're amazing. And I just want to, watch what you guys do. And they were so kind and welcoming, and they like showed me everything. And I was like, I love this pulse check so much. Could I use that for Parkside Melody? And they were honored, and they gave it. And, so this is just, it's just at the absolute best. Every barbershopper here they just want people to, all be able to do this. So I think it'll be very rare if somebody's like, no, that's mine. Like truly, I think, if you ask and are nice, it gets you very far. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, again, we've got about 7 or 8 minutes left. I'm going to open the floor. If anybody has a question that they didn't post into chat, please, now is the time. Go on ahead and unmute yourself if there's something that you'd like to ask. Katie, that was really helpful. I will get, while we're waiting to see if anybody has a question, I will get the video rendered and uploaded later on today, and then I'll send you a link so that you can go back and review it yourself.
Awesome.
But this has been awesome. Mark, did you have a question?
I just wanted to say thanks to Katie, and she joined our San Angelo chapter. Sorry, Mark Holdeman. I hope I didn't step on you. But I wanted to say thanks to Katie. She presented this to our chapter Zoom a couple of weeks ago, Katie, of San Angelo, Texas.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it again. And I love the pulse check, so I hope we can get a copy of that. I appreciate it.
Yes, there is a template at the end. So basically go into that link of the presentation at the last slide. It's right there. So but be sure you'll get, I think I say, just make a copy of it. It's only view only. So make a copy and then edit away. Ugh, greatest thing. Mark Holdeman, what's up? If you had something.
Not really. We were, my wife, as you well know, Lindsay, is
Hi,
here.
Lindsay.
We're commiserating back and forth, and so yeah, this is a great conversation. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Hello.
Hi.
Actually, so our chapter recently talked about changing how we're doing things, and we had an hour-long meeting just for us of what people want to see in rehearsals. And one of them is we do want to visit other chapters. I know I put it in the chat thing, but my chorus is looking to visit other chapters once a month. And so if anybody's willing to share with us, and is there a place that we can find on the BHS website where who rehearses on what night? Like, is there a sortable list? Because we rehearse on Mondays, but we're willing to go to somebody else's rehearsal on another night. But it's awesome to do those exchanges right now. And we have just one of the things where you said in your presentation that there's no excuse. I have guys in my chorus that have flip phones that don't even want to, try getting the, the iPad or the iPod, anything that allows them to do that. So we have guys that call them every week, but what do we do with the guys who are just like, I'm done. I don't want to Zoom anymore. I don't want to do any of that. Like, what are some of the things that other chapters are doing for the guys who don't want to be on Zoom? Yeah,
that one's hard. This is the world we're in now. And I know this is weird coming from the person whose job it is to like literally recruit humans, but if someone is what I would say to that is it's likely not a technology barrier. I mean, if they physically don't own a tablet, computer, whatever, and they don't have like, say, I don't know, I'm generalizing here, but like a kid who can help them, like a literal, like children that can like explain things to them, or they just don't want to, they may just not want to. And maybe just kind of asking other questions of like, well, you just got to learn how to do Zoom, right, dude? It's easy, you know, but saying, is there something that's stopping you from wanting to be on Zoom? Are you intimidated by the virtual rehearsals? Do you think the virtual rehearsals are not as good? And honestly, asking other questions like that to kind of get to the bottom of what it is, instead of maybe almost like assume, because like, I'll assume, okay, is it just a technology barrier? It's likely not. It's probably more just they don't want to do it. They're not used to it. And sometimes, like in that case, if they're not ready to participate in rehearsals and that's kind of their answer, then maybe starting a phone call tree. A lot of people have been doing that. The director's been reaching. I am a absolute grandma, and I write physical letters to people, and I send them out like at least once a month. And to every Parksider. So like, that's another thing you can do too, is just at the very least, if they're going to fall off and not come to the virtual rehearsals because they're uncomfortable or don't want to, because you can't force someone to do something they don't want, then at least remind them that they're loved and they are connected and their chapter misses them. And then hopefully, maybe eventually they'll turn around, but we can't make them do something they don't want to do. But maybe asking those questions of like, so what is it? Is there anything that I can do to help you? I have an old iPad. I can show you how to use it, kind of thing. But maybe going off the assumption that they're not tech, maybe it's not that they're not tech savvy. They just have something else that's blocking them. But oh my goodness.
Lindsay, can I throw in one thought on that? And that is, when you send out the Zoom invites, make sure to send the whole invitation, because we do have members that don't have that technology available to them, but there is in the full invitation a way for somebody to join by phone and just listen in.
And we've done that. So I have the full invitation that I send out to everybody, and it's the same invitation every week. It's a recurring meeting. But part of it is they just, they don't want to be a part of the Zoom meeting because they just don't want to do Zoom. I mean, I do Zoom for work 8 hours a day, then every other thing that I do on Zoom with Barbershop. Some of them is just, that's not their thing. Some of them, they're frustrated and they don't want to be a part of Zoom because they want to be singing together in person. And so we're seeing all of those, but some of them, it literally is the technology, and they're like, I work on a computer for work, but I don't want to get a camera. I don't want to be on, I tried the phone once. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't see anybody. I don't want to do. So we run the gamut of, it's the technology, but it's also I'm zoomed out, or I just don't want to. And it's really hard on a small chapter like ours when, you're 17 people on the books. I'm lucky that with 17 on the books, I get 12 to 14 at rehearsal every week. But it's the ones that we don't see that I'm like, I don't want to lose you for when we go back to the in-person, which is what you're looking for. But at the same time, want to be respectful of, you're an adult and you're making the decision for yourself, but also and I don't want to push you to like, come to Zoom, and then I'm pushing you away because I'm constantly saying, hey, we'd really love to see you. And you're just like, no, it's not my thing. So just those struggles. So if anybody figures out the magic potion for that, I would love to hear it.
I love that. Thanks, Lindsay, for that. And yeah, that is a concern, of course. But good luck with that. Thank you for caring enough to really try everything. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We've got a couple minutes left. Any additional questions for Katie before we let her go? All right, Katie.
When's the next GQ album?
When I know, the world will know. I don't know, but it is our favorite thing to do. So, and I will say we're getting antsy. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, everybody. Katie, this has been wonderful. We really appreciate you taking time out on a Saturday morning. And once again, everyone, I will get this video posted to YouTube, and we'll send out the links a little bit later on today. So if there's members of your chapters, like for instance, your chapter membership VP was not able to join, please share. And if there's any questions, I'll make sure that we have Katie's contact information available if we can, so we'll bug her as much as humanly possible. So
Yay, please
Katie,
do.
thanks again for joining us. This has been awesome. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Scott.